The good stuff.
I got the seed. Did you bring your phone?
No.
Okay, go get your phone. I have Johnny Seed catalog, and I marked some of the pictures because I was like, wouldn't it be more fun if I could show you what we actually like? You know, that's exciting, obviously. It makes the noise, but it's also exciting when you can know what they look like. So Ian, like literally, get up and go get your phone.
I got this cat on my lap though.
Yeah, Ian has a cat, and then Ian's like, what are you gonna talk about to start? And what I'm gonna talk about is Ian and what a bad influence he is.
I like to bug Serena with the concept of us being a content farm.
Yes. Go get your phone.
Okay.
Okay. So Ian, this cat is
he was getting ready for the long haul.
Yeah, he's like, I'm settling in. So Ian wants us to not be a real farm. Ian doesn't want us to be a profitable farm. Okay, sorry guys. I'm gonna do something really annoying, but like my lens is like completely okay. There. I was talking on my phone today, and I have greasy skin, so it's like the Vaseline fog of my face was on the lens there. Okay, so Ian is a bad person, and rather than having a profitable long-term farm business, he thinks that we should instead have a beautiful content farm where we can make videos about all the beautiful things that we have. And then I can a little bit relate because he's the one who has to get up at 3 a.m. to go do at the farmer's market, whereas I don't have to do that.
I like the farmer's markets.
And
we're doing more farmer's markets.
But if we were a content farm, then we wouldn't have to do the farmer's market because we wouldn't have to sell anything because we'd be a content farm.
I don't actually want to be purely a content farm. It's just that when Serena's like, should we try this new flower? Right? It's like, sure. Just or buy it and then we'll make a bunch of videos about it.
I think the better way to phrase it is I'm like, dinner plate dahlias are not a profitable flower. They're getting cut from the farm. And then Ian's like, but the videos, they look so good nice in the videos and everyone loves the dinner plate dahlias. And I'm like, I don't care. We're a farm. And he's like, but we could be a content farm.
Content farm.
Okay, yeah. So what is a content farm? So there is, I mean, this is a little bit us, like, it's a little rude. We're being a little rude. When like
no.
Content farm, I don't know.
It's like you just make money from being a farm on YouTube.
I don't know.
As opposed to like making money from the business of farming, right?
Yeah.
I just like to bug Serena because she really wants to have like a profitable, like very sustainable farm business, which I do as well. But you know, when it comes to being like, you know, this particular thing doesn't make as much sense for us to grow for our market, but there's like a market for content on it. You know, I am more likely to be like, let's just try it out because we're still at the let's try everything stage, right? Yeah. Like we don't.
Well, Ian's at the let's try everything.
We definitely okay. So
I'm at the let's do what makes sense time.
We've tried new stuff for 2 years, so you know there's stuff that we've already weeded out. But I think that there's still other things that we can bring into the mix, and also like I think that part of our business strategy, like the two go together, right? Like us being successful on YouTube goes hand in hand with us doing well, like selling food locally, because some of our best customers are people who watch our YouTube videos. So, you know, like doing one does not exclude the other. But, you know, I'll just be more likely to want to try out something that isn't necessarily going to be profitable for us because I think that it'll look good on camera or because I want to like,
or he'll be like, everyone keeps asking questions about this. And, you know, I'm like, well, it's not profitable. I can answer the question right away. It's not profitable. And he's like, but they want to see it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to be a content farm, but sometimes I get jealous of the content farms because I'm like, could you imagine if my job on the farm was just to make the farm the most beautiful farm anyone's ever seen?
Yeah.
Like that would also be a super fun job. maybe like more fun and less frustrating sometimes than trying to, figure out how to make it profitable. And then Ian will come along and he'll be like, oh, we made so much money on like, oh, you made $500 on that video, but like we didn't even make $500 at the market. And then I'm like, oh, Van Nord is selling wasabi. And Ian's like, you gotta grow wasabi. And I'm like, we're not a content farm. And he's like, can you imagine a video about growing wasabi in the desert? And I'm like, oh, the clickbait temptation.
Yeah.
But I was like, no.
No wasabi.
No wasabi.
We watched for a little while, back when our daughter was just born.
Hey, make it quick. I know where you're going with this, but it's very off topic.
We spent like a winter watching these shows about Japan.
We need to Japanology.
Yeah,
and we totally watched these on YouTube.
Yeah,
and they are like
very entertaining.
They're incredibly entertaining, but they're also, I think, they feel like the type of content that plays on hotel TV channels. Like welcome to Marriott. Welcome to Marriott Japan.
Yeah, it was very
and now
soft spoken.
Learn about saunas.
It would pick one specific aspect of Japanese culture and then do an entire video on it.
Yeah, see, someone else knows them.
And they did one on wasabi, and like the places that wasabi grow, like in the mountains, in these like terraced waterways in the mountains of Japan, is just like absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Yeah, I highly recommend them.
So
they definitely, they feel a little cheesy, but they're super interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was like, wasabi, he was like, remember that video? And I was like, yeah, it literally grows in creeks, not in the desert. So no.
But anyways, let's look at some seeds because
so
there's some cool stuff here.
Well, so we talked about the content farm. The reason why I had to harp on Ian about wanting to be a content farm is this box is literally the Ian suckered me into being a content farm box. This is the box of things that I'm like, oh, Ian, if we were a content farm, we can grow these things. And he's like, do it. You should totally do it. And I was like, oh, but it's like really expensive and I'm gonna like murder them all because I'm bad at growing flowers. He's like, do it, you gotta do it. So I did it, and they came finally. I ordered this in beginning of December, and my hope was that I'd have started it already. But it only just showed up.
We were
shipping.
We were waiting
right now
for a long time.
Insane. It took like a month for it to get to the border, and then it took like another month for it once like Canada Post got it to get it to us. So
somebody had a very sad story on the internet. They had a box like this with Johnny seeds that they got, and the mail person delivered it right to the end of the driveway, and it was raining out, and they had like pictures on the internet of their entire collection of seeds all just like soaked. Can you imagine like in this current like frantic state trying to get your seeds, and then it gets delivered to the end of like,
I mean, like I will say,
tears were shed.
Like we've been like, oh no, seeds, because now we know that the shipping's so bad. And I knew shipping is going to be an issue because I had like Christmas cards that didn't show up in time for Christmas, and people are like, I sent them at the beginning of the month. So like shipping is going to be an issue, and then we start stuff in the ground. So I'm hoping my stuff gets here on time, but I'm also like, it's not a big deal. Like worst case scenario for like our seeds, ideally I want them here March 1st.
You probably could have grown a farm's worth of seeds. Just from what we had like left over from last year. It wouldn't have been the choicest select, but we definitely had
there's like buffer. I went through because the thing.
For those of you who've seen Mad Max Fury Road, Serena is the crazy old lady with the seed collection in it. That's like Serena's spirit.
Yeah, that's my spirit animal. But like for me, I want stuff March 1st. Planting kind of starts then for me, best case scenario. But even if my planting starts like April 1st, which is still at this point like 3 full months, that's a lot of time. Even if I plant stuff then, still no problem. And you know, May 1st is kind of when I plant a lot of my stuff. So like for home gardener people, you know, obviously get your order in now. But you know, I've been going around the internet and being like, it's okay, guys, remember, it's like winter, like just order now, just wait. You know, it's gonna take a while.
We still had that. We had
but I can feel, I can understand, because I can feel it a little bit,
because it's so important, right?
Yeah, and like especially for us, because my one thing is like the seedling sale. I'm like, ugh, like what happens with the seedling sale if I don't get my tomatoes? I went and checked. I have 0 Juliets.
Yeah.
Which unforgivable.
Yeah.
Well, how do I not always have a buffer of 500 Juliet seeds in my seed packs?
Johnny's is only taking commercial orders. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. And I know William Dam, they like have a notice saying that it's going to be like up to 5 weeks delay.
In Ontario, which is like our most populous province, they have like really strict restrictions right now. So I think William Dam is just, they're like, we have the seeds. We just don't have the ability to, you know, manpower.
Yeah. Well, and I will say this. So I put in a flower order with William Dam. I put in, you can like tell your story, but like, we'll get your phone out and start looking stuff up then. Okay. I put a flower order in with William Dam in beginning of December, just because I wanted to get my flower order off, then I didn't have to think about it. And then I put my main veggie seed order in at the, what was it? January 3rd is when I did it. So about a month, and the order number from the flower order to my veggie order, so like a month's worth of time, was 3,000 different, which means I'm assuming that they probably got like 3,000 orders in between my 2 orders. And most people don't order in December. Most people start ordering in the new year. So I'm sure they're just, you know, insane. And like how many things can you pack in an hour? You know, how many employees can you stick in there? How many things can you pack an hour? There's only so many hours in the day. So okay, here we go. Okay, so
I'm gonna show a picture first.
Fine, go ahead. Okay, you gotta block our faces. It won't focus until our faces are blocked. Okay, there. Okay, so Johnny's seed order. Johnny's. So this order that I have in, this is my content farm order, and basically what it is I ordered up Lisianthis and Eucalyptus. These are my 2 content farm items. So I wanted to experiment with these. They are going to be a huge pain in the butt. Lisianthis is like so fussy. It like,
what's the germination on it?
Okay, so there's like an info sheet, and I was laughing so I got the catalog because I was like, oh, I'll show you pictures of everything. There's 0 pictures of Lisianthis in here, and I'm sure Johnny's is like, we do not want anyone buying this. If you're not coming to us being like, I want Lisianthis, I know what Lisianthis is, they do not want to tempt any home gardeners to buy Lisianthis, and I'm sure that's why it's not in here. So the issue,
germination is like 15%.
Yeah, so issue with Lisianthis, no, that's my best case scenario, is I think I'll get like 10%. So you need to sow 12 to 13 weeks in deep cell packs before last frost. So first of all, we're talking stuff that like home gardeners don't even necessarily have, a deep cell pack. You know, and 12 to 13 weeks before last frost. It's like crazy. And then, so the issue with that is if you overwater it, they die. If you underwater it, they die. So you need to have it at this like specific temperature range. If you grow it too hot, if you like germinate or like grow off the little baby seedlings at too hot of a temperature, it will never flower. You've like instantly destroyed your seeds. They're like, oh, we'll just be a bushy green thing. We'll never put out flowers. If you have it, because it's in the cells for like 3-4 months before you plant it out. And it likes cooler weather. That means now it's susceptible to all these like dampening off, like root and soil diseases, right? So oh, if it's too cold, I'm gonna get slammed by all these like soil diseases. Too hot, it'll never flower. You gotta keep it in this like sweet spot. Oh, I overwatered it, it's dead. Oh, I underwatered it, it's dead. And you have to baby it like that for like months and months and months. So a pain in the butt.
But here's another
put the
one.
picture. Put the picture up.
This is the second one.
I have to cover your face.
This
so
is
it'll
the
focus.
next one, but it's Lisianthis as well.
Yeah, but like,
Oh.
how beautiful are those?
Here.
Like, they look so good. Well, no, like just
Whatever.
no. We're using the phone, Sam. Okay, you guys have the video. No, we are using the phone. No, you. No, we are using. He's trying to steal. No, I'll tell you what. I'll call you when we're done with it. Okay. No, we need it for like a half an hour. Okay. Terrified of our children. We have both of our cell phones because I'm talking to you on my cell phone, and then we have Ian's cell phone to show pictures with. Yeah. Okay. So I've never grown Lisianthis because I see his first season. Yes, this is my first time growing Lisianthis. I suck at growing flowers. I grow flowers very badly, and the reason is because I don't want to baby anything. I don't want to have anything for like months and months, and I don't want to have to worry about like, oh, if you overwater it, you're gonna kill it. And the temperature thing, that's like crazy. It's like, oh, I accidentally had my lights too close to it and it got hot, and now it'll never flower after like 3 months. But they are so beautiful. And then Ian, the like evil, the devil on my shoulder, was all like, "Ooh, like people are gonna love to see what it looks like. Oh, it's gonna look so good." Oh, and also the seed is like stupid expensive. It was like so much money. I was like, fine. Yeah, no, Lisianthus is supposed to be really hard to grow. Some people say it's easy, but I'm pretty sure it's very hard. Yeah, okay, so a pack of 250, it's not like crazy expensive, but so it's $20 for a 250 pack. I think altogether, so this entire order that I got was 200, so with the shipping, it's just over $200 American. And then with my exchange, we could basically say it's about $300. And I don't only have the Lisianthus. I have a few other things, but the bulk of it is the Lisianthus. So you could almost say that, I spent $150 on Lisianthus seeds. So it was definitely, I better get at least a couple. Yeah, I gotta make that video, guys. I gotta make the video showing how beautiful the Lisianthus is so I can get my seed money back. Yeah, so I bought 900 seeds. I did a whole mix of different ones. And, I did small seed packs so I could have a handful of colors. Because basically this is just like an experiment to be able to share with you guys. And show them, and to probably make fun of myself at how bad I am at growing these. But yeah, I'm really excited because they're so pretty. And so I have 900 seeds. I figure worst case scenario, if I okay, sorry, I'm distracted. Okay, 900 seeds. Worst case scenario, if I get 10% of them to turn into viable plants, that's still 90 plants, right? And like 90 plants is still, a good number. Like plant that out, that'd be a quarter of a bed. They actually do produce a lot of flowers. So, that could maybe be like 500, stems of Lisianthus, which is lots, right? Like if I get 500 stems of Lisianthus, which are like a very high value flower, they last in the vase for like insane amounts of time. Yes, it's an annual. So it's not, I don't feel as bad. So I have a bunch of perennial plugs coming. And those, they were each plug is, like $1, $2, $3. But they come back again and again and again. So for that stuff, I don't feel so bad about. Okay, let's see. Let's get some pictures, guys. I'm sure you guys want to see. I don't know exactly when they're going to produce, how long they're going to produce, how well they're going to produce, because I've never grown it. Okay, so this is one that I have. Let's see if I can. Come on. I have to block my face for it to focus, but it doesn't want to. Okay, so this one is Voyage to Champagne. And so it has like really, really pretty light peachy colors. All right, let's see. I got the Voyage. Oh yeah, okay. So here's one. Arena Gold. I got like my goal when I was ordering these is to get a bunch of different series. Okay, we need to get into the Lisianthis section. Okay, let's see. Voyage Light Apricot. Oh, guys, this one. Yeah, like it was hard because I was like, I want to order one of everything. So what I did was I tried to, order a few of all the different series, and then they're supposed to bloom at different times. And then I wanted, obviously I wanted all the colors.
Have you already done these ones?
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Here's the white.
What about these ones?
Oh, these I'm like dying because I haven't looked at these since I ordered them. Look at that one. So this is Voyage to White. Aren't they gorgeous?
They look so cool.
They look insane.
What's the deal with
they
those
look
ones?
I haven't done anything.
Okay.
Like comes in here. Okay, you do this. You look it up. Okay, pass me the box. Why?
This is all the stuff we've already.
No, then pass me the stuff that I haven't done.
Trying to help.
I know. He is trying to be helpful. He's just not being helpful. Okay, so you look it up. Yeah, so I wanted to do all the colors because they're all great. But I figured to make it easier for myself to kind of stick to the more gentler tones. And to just kind of that way, if I only had one, I could kind of blend it in. Like if everything was kind of in the same color palette, if I really failed at producing them and I didn't have enough plants to be able to do like a set of the exact same thing, at least they'd kind of complement each other. I have zero plans for what I'm going to do with the Lisianthus because it is a really high-end cut flower. It's not the type of thing to sell in market bouquets. This
is the Eucalyptus.
Okay, well, can you look up the Lisianthus?
This was the next one.
Ian, you're reading.
This was the one that was on the
How is it not logical to look up all the Lisianthus?
I don't know. But
yeah.
This is.
Okay, so this is the Eucalyptus. Okay, you have to cover your face. Put your hand over your face. Okay. My camera, despite driving me crazy and not focusing on anything, won't focus on anything but our faces. Okay, yeah, so that's the Eucalyptus. The Eucalyptus is Silver Drop. There was 2 when I ordered, and the other one was sold out, or I would have ordered the other one too. And so I got a 250 pack of the Eucalyptus, and my plan with that is, fingers crossed, I'll be able to get them. Eucalyptus also in the butt. It's going to take forever. They're literally like Australian trees that are not supposed to be grown in Canada. So they need to be started way ahead of time. And then they're really slow. But apparently in our area, they do produce kind of by October. Lots of people sell it, which is yet another reason why I wouldn't do eucalyptus. Enough people in the area grow it and sell it that it's not like no one else does it. So it's not like over the top special for selling it. But my plan is I have a few.
I put red tissue on you.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Mew.
Here's another Lisianthus.
Okay.
This is the apricot.
Okay. Oh, I showed that one already, I think. No, I showed
the
all
white.
of those.
Well, then why did you give them to me?
Well, then what was in?
Okay, we're moving on to these ones.
Anyways, okay. No, before we move on, I have to talk about what I'm doing with this stuff. Okay, that's annoying. Hey, come on, don't do that. Okay, So I love these. They're super beautiful. Like Eucalyptus, Lisianthis, so pretty. They last forever. Great flowers. You know, in like the look of it, so good. I mean, the eucalyptus dries. It's a really awesome dried thing. But because what we do are these more like grocery store flowers, you know, that's kind of that's our customer, that's our price point. These are like fancy. These are like fancy florist style things. They're not the type of stuff I'd normally grow, just because it's, you know, it's hard if you had like, you know, a beautiful wedding bouquet being sold at the grocery store. You know, beside all the grocery store bouquets, you're not going to be like, oh, $150 for that makes sense compared to the $20 grocery store bouquets. And that is like kind of the issue that we run into. Because it's not the customer that we're building towards, it's not our customer base, doing these like really high end things. You know, if we then try to sell it at the market, you know, we have to sell it as like a market bouquet type thing, which undervalues it. Or we need to find like a customer for it, and you know, I've no interest in doing that. Like I see, like, will we sell to florists? I have zero interest in ever building up florist customers. Just because that we aren't a flower farm is basically the answer. We grow flowers on our farm, but we're not a flower farm. We grow flowers on our farm to complement the veggies that we sell. So we sell lots of flowers, but our customer is still that grocery store, like produce customer. So, you know, we're never going to deliver special order bouquets for Valentine's Day to anyone. Though I am tempted looking at all my dried flowers. I'm like, oh, I could do these up and try to sell these for Valentine's Day. But there's a reason why we didn't decide to be a flower farm. The reason why we're not a flower farm is there's like a gazillion flower farms in our area. And when I looked around, I just felt that the market was so saturated that it would be, you know, I'm not saying that you couldn't be a flower farm in our area. You just have to do a lot of work to be a flower farm in our area, because you'd have to like rise up above the above all the other flower farms. You know, and I'm not interested in doing weddings. You know, I'm not interested in delivering anything. But yeah, so I'm growing these. They're not actually the best thing for me to grow. That's why, you know, at the very beginning of this, I was like, oh, content farm, because they are very much more for all of you guys than they are for the local customers, because they just aren't. They're not. Obviously I can sell them if I sell them for the same price that I'm selling my zinnias. I really shouldn't be selling them for the same price as my zinnias, because they're valuable beyond what, you know, the zinnias are. So I don't know. And this is part of the reason, like, I think last week or the week before in the live, we were talking about, we were throwing out this idea of doing a CSA. Yeah, this is Mew. He's like, oh, you guys are sitting. I'm going to come snuggle in. Yeah, we're talking about doing a CSA for the flowers, for the flower bouquets. And the flower bouquet CSA is going to be stuff that is different from like our market bouquets. It's going to be like, you know, stuff that I don't necessarily have a lot of, or I have a bunch of sunflowers coming that I just bought a few, like, you know, I bought 100 instead of 1,000 of the seeds. And so, you know, it's enough to do, you know, like 1 week worth of specialty bouquets, but it's not enough to like really offer it for everyone. So the Lisianthis, you know, obviously I don't know what's going to happen with it. So I'm not going to make a Lisianthis CSA because I can't pre-sell the Lisianthis that I'm most likely going to murder, right? Like I don't have a ton of confidence in my ability to grow Lisianthis. So, you know, I can't promise that they're going to be there, but if they do work out, they would be the perfect one for doing into the flower CSA, where, you know, basically the CSA people get like the very best, the most special, the things that are too good for dragging down to the farmers market. And if I actually made Lisianthus survive, like basically there'd be like a video. It would be like my Lisianthus bouquet, and I'd go out there and I'd like totally build myself like a $200 Lisianthus bouquet that would be for me, and then I'd make it and I'd show all you guys and I'd be like, look at all these Lisianthus, and we'd be like, oh, it's so beautiful, and then I'd put it on my table and I'd be like, oh, I love it. Yeah, so even if that's all that ever comes of it, that is more than enough. But yeah, so that, you know, I don't think it was smart for me to buy Lisianthus and Eucalyptus, but I'm excited to get to experiment with it. So thank you everyone for liking flowers, and for watching our videos, because that is the only reason why we're doing it, and because Ian suckered me with his content farm stuff. Okay. Then I'm gonna get to the rest of the stuff. There is somewhat pictures like in here, so I think I can do it that way. But yeah, I was gonna answer the comment thing. So we do not have comments on our videos because YouTube has disabled our ability to have comments on videos. That's part of the reason why we really like doing the live videos, because we get to chat with all of you guys. But in the description of all of our videos is the links to our other social media. So if you ever wanted to, you know, talk to us, we are available there. And our new thing, which I've been seeing it getting more attention, but I know not everyone knows about it, is there's a community tab, and we can like put a picture and writing posts in there. And so we've been, you know, sometimes I forget to do it when I like schedule videos for the next morning. Sometimes, you know, it's a few hours after the release, but we've been trying to always make a community post on the channel that pairs up with the videos. So then if you're only on YouTube and you wanted to make a comment for the video, then you have the ability to do it in the community section. All the comments on our channel have to be approved. So you get to it sometimes and you make comments and then there is no other comments. So it's like, oh, and I've seen a few times people have been like, my comment hasn't showed up. So like here, like I'm remaking my comment. It's there. I just have to like physically approve it, just because we're paranoid. we don't want to lose the ability to have community posts. So we make sure there's nothing bad in there, because we don't know why comments got turned off. YouTube's like, I don't know, something about kids. Like we give you, oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much, Joshua. That will be money put towards the Lisianthus. We can buy some more next year if I kill them all. Yeah, we're very cautious about anything that YouTube would consider inappropriate going into our comment section at all, in case we also get our community post comments turned off. Because for a while there was no community post comments. That also was turned off. It took a few months before that came back. So we don't want to, that's our only way to get comments from you guys. We don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose the chat comments. I know, like when our comments first disappeared, we lost chat comments, and that nightmare. And it's like, it's not a default setting for me to be able to have you guys all here chatting. I know that it should be a default, but on our channel, because of, you know, the chaos of the disabled comments, some of the stuff is weird sometimes. Okay, sorry. Okay, it's gonna take me forever. I always get going on other tangents, and there really isn't that many flowers in there, so we have to get through this. But I think it should. I should be able to do it quickly enough that we can do some questions at the end. Okay, so the rest of this seed order, I made this seed order at the same time that I made my, because this is only flowers. And I made this at the same time that I did my William Dam flower order. And basically I went, because another place that we order flowers from is Geo Seeds. And it's down in the States, and they're amazing, and the prices are awesome, because they're like wholesale flower farmer company. They have everything in the entire world. So I really like it. But they have been like on crazy back order, like 8-week back order since like the fall, because farmers order their stuff. Farmers, oh yeah! Oh, that's, you guys are all carrots. I didn't even notice. It looks good. You know, I have to say, I liked the sunflower. I've been thinking that the sunflower, I should just like reuse it for like one of our emojis. Like, I didn't even notice the carrots. I like it. I'm kind of blind. It's hard to see that stuff. Okay. What was I saying? Very distracted. Yeah, okay. So Geo Seeds was so delayed, and then I already knew that, you know, even best case scenario, the shipping from the States already takes forever because I have to cross a border. You know, seeds are one of those things that can get delayed because it's like there's lots of rules around seeds. So I was like, you know what? It's too much stress to wait and worry about how long the Geo Seeds order is going to take. So I was like, I'm just going to order from William Dam. It's going to cost me a little bit of extra money, but I'm just going to do it so I can get them on timely matter. And so I ordered everything from William Dam, and I'll do an unboxing of all that stuff when it comes in. And then after that was done, anything that William Dam didn't have, I ordered from Johnny Seeds, because Johnny's has, like, honestly, if I was in the States, I would, like, Johnny's is such a great selection. They basically, anything that Johnny's doesn't have, I'm kind of like, do I really need it? There's some stuff like that Geo has that I would have ordered if I was ordering from Geo, because, you know, this is a perfect example of the only thing that's wrong with Johnny's. So these are all their amaranths, you know, and there's just not enough amaranths. Geo Seed has twice as many amaranths, and since I need all the amaranths, I would have ordered all the amaranths. But yeah, so I ordered what I couldn't find from William Dam, and then I couldn't do the sunflowers because Geo Seeds, the price on Geo Seeds for the sunflowers is like so much cheaper. For Johnny's to Geo Seeds, for most of the stuff, the price wasn't like that much of a difference, but also like a lot of the stuff I'm not doing huge volumes. Sunflowers, you know, I was talking about buying like 2,000 5,000 packs of sunflowers, and so, you know, if, you know, when something's double price and it's like $500, so now it's $1,000, that makes a big difference, as opposed to, you know, what's the difference between $4 and $2. So I couldn't do it, but I ended up buying my sunflowers from I think it's called like Sunflower Selections. I don't know if any of you guys in the comments know. It's directly from the company who does like Pro Mix, and all of their sunflowers are amazing. Yeah, Sunflower Selections. I don't know. The website, I was like, oh man, this website, when I like got to it, it was like very old-fashioned internet. I was having flashbacks to like my teenage years. But it actually was a really once I got over like you know, the fact it had a black background and like, you know, felt like it should have like a dancing star like banner on it. It was a great website, and they shipped out really fast. I haven't gotten the stuff yet because Canada. But I'm super, super excited that I was like looking through, there's like a big section of sunflowers in Johnny's, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to do the unboxing of my sunflower selections order, because you guys are gonna lose your mind. I spent way too much money. I spent like probably $500 on sunflowers, and I think I have like there's like thousands. I think there's like 10 or 20,000 sunflowers coming, and I think I ended up buying like 20 different varieties. It's gonna be fun. There's like, so I just made a video about like all the new things that I grew this year. Like this time next year, there's gonna be like I talk about every single sunflower I grew on my farm, and it'll be like an hour and a half because I have so many now. Okay. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of sunflowers. But I'm excited because I'm gonna be doing some stuff that I think is gonna be really nice in bouquets. And I've been doing mainly bunches, just 10 sunflowers together, because in a $10 bouquet, the sunflowers are so big that it's hard to make a nicely balanced $10 sunflower bouquet. But now that I'm going to be doing the $20 bouquets, I have a use for sunflowers in bouquets, and people love sunflowers. Sunflowers, like, I personally don't necessarily like sunflowers that much. They've like grown on me because you can make really, really good money on them, which makes me love them more. But they're not something that I ever planted in my home garden. I had sunflowers in my old home garden because like birds dropped seeds in my yard. But they're not something I would have ever paid money for. And I definitely would have never gone to like and paid money to like buy sunflowers to put inside my house. Still to this day, I'm like, I'm not bringing those in my house. I'm like, I'll enjoy them in the field. They're not coming inside. But I really love seeing how happy sunflowers make people. Like we'll be selling the bouquets in front of our house, and people like pull over when we have like a bucket of sunflowers, and they're just like, it like brings them so much joy. So like I have a huge respect for sunflowers for how much they make people happy. And I think they're fun to work with for bouquets. I'm just, I'm like super, super snobby. If anything should be known as we start to head into all these like seed unboxing, I'm like the biggest seed snob there is. People always offer me seeds all the time, and I usually pass. First of all, and the reason is I have so many seeds, it's hard for me to keep track of my seeds. And I'm also like such a seed snob that I have like a multiple year funnel of like seed experiments. And like my opinion is, if I'm not willing to pay the money for the seeds, then do I really want to try it? Right? Like, it's like the Lisianthis. It's the $150 that I spent on Lisianthus seed isn't the reason why I'm resistant to trying Lisianthus. The $150 that I'm probably gonna murder because I'm so bad at seed starting. I'm not gonna cry over the $150. I'm gonna cry over like the wasted time that I'm gonna spend babying all these like silly little flowers. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't mind expensive seed, because if the plants aren't worth the seed investment, then they're probably not worth it, right? Because in relation to a plant, the seed is so affordable. Okay, but 15 minutes later and I still haven't started in on the rest of the seeds. Okay, so here we go. Blocking my face, we're pointing out the pink amaranth. So I ordered Coral Fountain Amaranth, and if you guys were around for the summer, I'm obsessed with this. It is my absolute favorite. Ian made fun of me. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna show your pink amaranth again?" And I love the drapey look and the color. And I still have some that are dried, and they've like stayed super pink. Like its ability to hold on to that pink color is really incredible. Because another one that I do is this red spike. And this dried, it's still beautiful dried, but it's not as impressive for being as true to color dry as the Coral Fountain. So I had to have Coral Fountain. All the rest of the ones in here, I have all of these pictures coming. I have like a green drapey one, I have a red drapey one, I have a red spike, and then I have Hot Biscuit, which is like a brown amaranth, and then the Coral Fountain. But the other ones are coming from William Dam. Okay, so then the next one, what is this called? Sweet Annie Artemisia. I'm sure I'm going to say that wrong. I don't know. I need Ian here to see if it's focusing. Okay, so this is what I'm growing. This is a filler. This is like one that I was like, I really wanted to do, but it was totally like an impulse buy. I tried to resist. I was like, Ian, I don't think I should get. He's like, just order it. I'm like, I don't know. I spent like too many hours thinking about if I should buy this or not. But I'm very excited. It's a very simple, just green. Has some yellowy-ish flowers on it. But it's supposed to be super, super productive filler. And it's supposed to be tall plants with fern-like dark green foliage used for wreaths or bouquets. And then they talked about it being excellent as a dried flower. And so when they talked about it being like very, very productive, drying super, super well, and then like the thing about the wreaths, because the problem with, I love the look of dried flower wreaths. I'm not going to do it. I haven't done it yet because of the fact that it takes a lot of plant matter. So I don't have anything that is low enough value to be able to bunch into a wreath, to be able to then sell the wreaths for a price that people would pay. Because in general, people don't charge very much money for dried flower wreaths. And I mean, if I was going to go and take what I made and turn it into a wreath, I'd have to charge like $120 for, the work that went into the flowers and the work that would go into making the wreath itself. So if this is like as crazy productive as it says it is, then maybe that's something that would be a good option. Or no matter what, it would be a nice bulk to go in with the dried flowers again for next year, as well as being able to use fresh. So I'm excited. I've never seen it in real life, so I don't necessarily know what it's going to look like. So I'm excited. And it followed my rules of the, it does well in like hot, dry conditions. It's not super fussy. I'm always looking for things that sound like they'll grow easily for me. Other than Lisianthis, that's going to be a pain in the butt. But I'm also, I'm always looking for easy. Because if it's easy, then I should be able to grow it. Okay, this I'm super excited about. Okay, so this, what's it called? Green drops. Okay, I'm gonna cover my face. Let's see. Okay, just hold it still and hope that it's focusing there for you guys. It's the one here. So this, I don't know, yet again, I don't know what it's gonna look like. Oh, thank you so much, Moon Farm. Oh, but I'm like, I don't necessarily know that the content is always useful. So many things are so specific. But I try to say why my information is useful to me, to at least, let people know, because we're so unique for the growing with the dry region. I don't want to tell people this is how to do it. I want to be like, this works for me because it's dry. Like I need something drought tolerant because we get so little rain here, and so this works well for me. Or I talk about like, oh, downy mildew isn't so much of an issue, but I still get it if I do this because I'm dry. I try to address stuff. So I'm always happy when I hear that it actually is useful. Yeah, I don't know. And the focus, if my face is in the screen, then I can't get it to focus. But without Ian here for us to like both kind of sneak around the picture, even if my eyes are like this, I'll focus on them. So I'm sorry if the pictures aren't. Okay, that's good to know that that's always the problem with these unboxings. I'm like, I'd prefer to do them live. But I don't have pictures when I do them live. So this is like my workaround. Wait, green drops. We're talking about green drops. Here, let me read it. Productive, easy to grow and harvest. That's like, those are, are those, did you speak Serena's magic words when it comes to flowers? Oh, and this too, 65 to 75 days, like dream flower. Stems can be harvested early when bead-like tassels are sparkling bright green, or for a more autumnal look. Harvest a bit later when seed heads have developed hues of purple and gold and a deeper graceful arch. Sounds great to me. And like in the picture, they kind of show it when it's really young, and I like the really green. Oh, and so for needing a catalog, the amount of information that's in this catalog is like not very useful. The thing that I love so much about Johnny's is they have an incredible amount of info for growing the stuff on their website, and it's very, very clearly. Sorry, just one second. There we go. Yeah, it's very. Their website is very easy to use. And it's very easy to reference, and like especially for cut flowers, they say like how long till like harvest for a cut flower. So it's really good. It's a really good good resource. But you know, the catalog obviously can't have all the information they have on the website. So I highly recommend to use the website. Okay. Yeah, I'm really excited. There was like a bunch of ornamental grasses that I wanted to experiment with this year. And we do have some perennial ornamental grasses coming. And so I was tempted to get a bunch of the annual ones too, but there has to be a limit. There has to be a limit to what. I can't have everything. But that one I couldn't resist. I had to get it. I had to do it, guys. Okay, here, let me see. So I have a feverfew coming. Okay, I'm going to hold this up. So there was no... Okay, here, let's see. So the one that I'm doing is this one. All right, so I hope that's in the picture there. Feverfew is really good because it is kind of earlier in the season. It's really hard to get stuff in the period when I can get the feverfew. Ideally, here, I'm going to hold up the feverfew pictures again. So ideally, my number one choice would have been everything else that's in this picture. The single isn't my first choice. You know, I love the look of this. I love the double. But when I ordered, they were all sold out. So that was the only one I could get. But for some reason, feverfew is like super hard to find for me. Which I think is hilarious because feverfew is a weed here. At my old house, I had feverfew all throughout my garden. I never planted it. It was just a total weed. You know, I let it grow because it was pretty. And I have a few that, because they're such weeds, they like came with us when we transplanted plants. So I have a few that are hanging out in the garden, but they're like a short-lived perennial. They come back year after year, but they kind of just disappear after a few years. So I'm worried that the couple I have in the garden, and they're super cold hardy. I was out there the other day and they were like super green, like they were growing really happily. But I'm worried that, you know, this year might be the last year that I'm going to have those wild ones that have hung out with me. But so I'm starting, you know, I'm getting this one in, and then, so the Magic series, upright, branched plants with long, strong stems that support abundant blooms, easy to grow and harvest. So I'm going to have that, you know, I have it. And then I'm going to keep adding more in, because they're an excellent flower. And as I get more of these perennials going in my garden, I'm gonna have more that I'm able to sell in June. You know, the feverfew is a June, July flower for me, and I just don't have that much. Most of the stuff that I grow, Oh, here I found the thing about. So I was laughing because I was saying they don't have Lisianthis in here because they don't want home gardeners to get tempted. So it says more online. Looking for Lisianthis? We offer over 20 varieties on our website for spring, summer, and fall harvest. And then they have this like tiny little Lisianthus flower. If you know what you're looking for, you can come and find it on the website. Okay, let's see. What else do we got in here? Oh yeah. I also ordered Status. So, and it's made me laugh because I've had a bunch of people contact me specifically about Status. I just need to look and see if I can. Okay, that. Oh, this. Oh yeah, this isn't in the catalog, but that's exciting too. Okay, let's. Okay, I talked about the grass. Talked about the amaranth. Talked about Sweet Annie, and then what statuses do I have? Okay, so I bought 2 statuses. And so they have a mixed status from William Dam. And so I like to order from William Dam because I'm in Canada, and because William Dam is in Canada, when I do the conversion, even though the American prices are cheaper than the prices on the William Dam website for me, when I do the conversion, Johnny Seeds is more expensive, and then their shipping is like $1 million when I do the conversion on the shipping too. And then, issues with crossing the border and everything. But the Johnny's status, they're like little blurb about like why you should buy their status, because they have their like own specific mix. They sold me on their mix being like a really good mix. And so I bought their status formula mix. I had to do it. And then I also bought apricot because this color is so incredible. And I think it's going to be so versatile. The mix will be nice. I'll be able to dry it and everything. But then the apricot, I think, is going to be great on its own. Okay, so these are the 2. Cover my face there and hold it still. So I think you guys can very clearly see why I was tempted by the apricot, even if it's not focusing in. And then the the classic color mix. I've had people ask me why I haven't grown Status before, because it is quite well adapted. Like hot, dry summers, drought tolerant. It has a lot of those things that I'm always looking for. The reason why I haven't done Status up until this point is that it's zinnias and cosmos are so easy to start from seed. Doing the seed starting on it is really, really simple. And then there's some things like here, this is a page to sum up like things that I'm willing to put in a small amount of effort to seed start. Snapdragons. I love snapdragons. So I'll put in the effort to grow snapdragons. And as flowers go, they are quite simple, but once you start into snapdragons, you start dealing with the issues that you run into for flowers versus vegetables, which is like flowers are just more difficult. The seeds are so small. They're just fussier. And so I've resisted Status because it's not a high value stem. Status is kind of similar to the bachelor buttons in the fact that you throw a stem of Status in there, and in general, yeah, team veggies. In general, people aren't like, oh, look at this Status. It's kind of, it's just a run of the mill, like, oh yeah, whatever, like filler flower. But it would be a little fussy for me to start. I don't think it would be very happy direct seeded. And then because I've never grown it before, direct seeding veggies, I know what my veggies look like when they pop up. So when I weed, I know when I'm not. I know when I'm weeding in my veggie rows what is weeds and what is veggies. And the farm being new, there's a lot of weeds, right? So I have to do a lot of weeding. With the flowers, to direct seed it, for these smaller things that aren't super strong, I am going to have to actually go and weed it. And because I don't know what a Status weed, seed, like little baby looks like, it starts to become issue for weeding it. So that is the reason why I haven't done Status until this year. But I mean, the dried flowers, they did so good. The status, you know, it's great long vase life, fresh, and then I can dry it. You know, it does such a great double duty that, you know, it makes sense now to start doing more of that stuff. Sorry, my alarm. Yeah, I know. Spring never comes soon enough. That was part of my we don't so March 15th. That is my date for starting my my tomatoes and my peppers this year. I can't start them before then. So that's a long time to wait. So if I have these, you know, fussy little things like eucalyptus and my Lisianthis, you know, it's a reason every day to go out and play in the dirt. You know, and it's not so much that it will overwhelm me, and I never go anywhere and I never leave my house. So it's not like I don't have the time to go and do it. So I might as well. So, you know, it makes me happy. I like having the stuff. Oh, it's a full moon. Well, I don't plant by the moon, so it's fine. Though I must say, you know, I appreciate those full moons on nights when I'm out working outside because they definitely are bright. Okay, next thing that I've marked in this list is Bennery's Giant Lime. So, they actually had a lot of individual colors of Bennery's Giant for William Dam, which was nice because previously they only had like the mixes. And I want to order by color, but they didn't have lime. So I ordered it from Johnny's because Johnny's had it. So here we go. These are all the Bennery's Giant individual colors. I was laughing though. You can see like the lime. This is a great picture for showing like the size and the contrast. And the lime is very, very noticeably smaller than the rest of the series. And I noticed that in my farm, because I did the Lime Queen lime, and I also did the Bennery's Giant lime. So last year I had double lime, and they looked exactly the same. The Bennery's Giant wasn't it wasn't bigger than the Lime Queen, because in general the Lime Queen flowers are more similar to this, whereas the Bennery's are, you know, substantially bigger. But I found that I love Bennery's Giant as a zinnia specifically for its disease resistance. I plant them for 6-inch spacing, the plants, which is very, very tight, and we are very dry, so I can get away with it. But the other zinnias get downy mildew. And the Bennery's Giant, you know, come September, they're getting downy mildew too, down on the bottom of the plants. But there's a huge, huge difference from the other zinnias that I grow versus the Bennery's for the disease resistance. So if I had to pick, I'd prefer to do a Bennery's lime for disease resistance than Lime Queen lime for disease reasons. So this is one that I ordered this year. So I have a pack of those. And I love the green. I mean, yeah, I love veggies. Honestly, my favorite color for flowers is green. You know, my dream bouquet is like,
Mommy,
yeah.
what this?
Oh, do you Pete the boss?
No. So you.
Oh yeah, you got another level. Okay, I'll look at it after. Okay.
You see?
Okay. I'll look at it after. We have a new this cat video game that my son has figured out how to play, and so we were playing it today, so he's all excited to beat a new level. Okay, that is everything that I have marked, but I have a few other things in here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this other thing that it wasn't in the catalog. But this was like, I can't resist. So I have a bunch of straw flowers coming. But they had this in the Johnny's. It's called Winged Everlasting. I'm not even going to try. Here, I'll hold it up. There. You guys can see if we can get some focus on that. Come on, camera. let's see, over there. I don't know. Winged everlasting. And amobium alatum. So this looks like a mini straw flower. This looks like, like instead of like one big straw flower, like a million little mini straw flowers. This looks like it's going to be the glitter, the plant form of glitter. And it's like used as a dried flower. Seems almost like how they talked about it. Sorry. Like maybe this is something that was like popular back in the 80s with all the dried flowers. And it's starting to come back again. I'm like, Vernon, what are you guys talking about? But yeah, so I'm excited for this. I think this is going to be really funky. I was really happy with the dried flowers this year. So, if I do them a little bit more intentional, maybe that's going to work out. Okay. And then I have some herbs. I thought I had more coming. I have more herbs for the flower farm coming. But they're on my other Johnny's order. Okay, so what I have here is wild marjoram. And this is for the flower farm. This is a perennial. So I'm going to start up a bunch of this for being able to have as foliage. I'm pretty sure that we have some of this growing wild, like weedy, and it made for a really nice filler. And it gets quite tall, if I remember from reading it. And the seed on it was cheap. So I think that this will be a nice filler. So I'm going to give that a try. I have a few other herbs coming. What did I order? I got like mountain mint. I think I got like an oregano that's coming to be there. But yeah, I have a handful of herbs, not for food, but herbs for flower filler. I was so excited by the catnip that I used early in the year. It was like a wild field. So the herbs, they make really nice filler, and I love that they have some smell. And then my favorite filler, which is a herb, is basil. And the basils that I've been getting, the basil that I've been growing is just the basil, the generic basils that William Dam grew. They have like a lemon basil and they have a cinnamon basil, and I just grew the best one. But Johnny's, they have like the ones that all the other flower farmers talk about. They have Aromato, which is like a darker one. So this I'm super excited about. And then the lemon one that all the flower farmers are in love with is Mrs. Burns Lemon. And so they have that. Oh, Cleveland Angel, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so now I have the ones. Now I have the ones that all the flower farmers say are the one to grow. So I think that they're going to be a little taller. In general, my bouquets aren't like, because I do the smaller bouquets, I can get away with shorter stuff. But so like when I have basil and it's this tall, that's more than good enough. But if I can get basil that's like this tall, now I can start to do some like really decadent, really tall bouquets with it. So, that's fun. Okay. And then I have one veggie in here, and it's so, oh, look at that, right on the cover. So Johnny's, for their international shipping, it's like done by like price point. It's, like, and I can see they're like, oh, this is like the $200 box size. They don't do it by weight or anything. So I was almost at $200, but I still had space for like another pack. So what I did is I ordered this Nagi cucumber. Okay, so cover my face so you can see it. It's right here. I don't know if that's zooming in. All right, so the cucumber that we grow is tasty green, and it's a Japanese cucumber. Unagi is is like Johnny's new Japanese cucumber. And Johnny's like they kill me, right? Like this is like the inside cover, right? Like here's their catalog, and then here's their inside cover, and this is like all their new things, and they have this as their like homepage. Every time I like go, I'm always like, what new? What's new and exciting for Johnny Seeds? They tempt me. They tempt me with all their new stuff. I ended up ordering a bunch of their new things. I'm a sucker for it. They know it. They know I'm a sucker for all the new introductions because I want everything new and exciting. But yeah, so that's everything. That's everything new and exciting in here. So I'm excited. There's gonna be some fun stuff. Oh, and other news. This I completely forgot about this, but I should be thinking about this because this is what I'm doing tomorrow. So we have a fridge. We got so there's this thing that you can do. Here, you know what? Let me look this up. I got Ian's phone here, so I'm gonna Google. So we got a free fridge, and what we're gonna do with it is we are going to build a germination chamber using what? Okay, sorry. I can't type and talk at the same time. Okay, so like professional growers, what they do. Okay, let's get some images here for you guys. Oh yeah, here we go. This is exactly what we're gonna be doing. This like super ghetto looking picture here of like a fridge all filled in with stuff. But you can kind of see some of, I don't know if any of those, I guess like maybe that's kind of more. Okay, so this is like an actual thing that you can like buy, a germination chamber. And what a germination chamber is it's like this closed in box that has like heat and humidity. And so you set it to the perfect temperature and the perfect humidity to get your seedlings to germinate. And so, you know, like you stick your things on the windowsill and they take like 2 weeks to germinate and you're like, oh, it takes so long. But then you stick a heat mat underneath it and budget engineering, that's funny. Yeah, you stick a heat mat underneath it and all of a sudden your stuff germinates super fast. Well, this is the next step up, right? Because with a heat mat, you're still not getting ideal humidity. And last year, I got ideal humidity. I turned my entire bathroom into a germination chamber, not intentionally, by accident. And then I grew mold in my bathroom because obviously if it's like 99% humidity and like 30 degrees Celsius in there, that's not an ideal condition to store plywood at. So, and I'm not allowed to do that again. But when you have like that really high humidity and really good heat, stuff germinates in like a couple days, like 2 or 3 days. So we got this free fridge and we're gonna set it up to, what you do is you put a crock pot in the bottom shelf, plugged in. So it's steaming up the fridge and then you close it, you like put all your stuff on the shelves, you close it, and then the seeds germinate really fast and then you pull them out and you put them under lights. Some of the flowers, I don't know if Lisianthis is that way, but some stuff needs light to germinate. So I'm gonna have to do some more research for if that works for the germination chamber, because I'm not sticking lights in there. That's too much work. But yeah, so tomorrow I have Lisianthis and Eucalyptus getting started. I went and I found my soil blocker. All the emojis. Oh, look, we have another cat. We have both the cats here. Both of these guys. They know it's bedtime. Yeah, but so I'm super excited. Get these things started, because let's see, 12 weeks. So that's February, March, April. Then I planted in May. I think the Lisianthus can probably go in in mid-April here for us, because you can plant it when there's still a bit of a risk of a frost. Okay, a soil blocker. I'd show you. They're out in the outbuilding, and I'm inside my house. But what it is instead of having seedlings in like a seedling tray, you make like a little cube of soil, and then you can grow them that way. And you know, some people love them. They're their absolute favorite. I have like these mini soil blockers, and they're these tiny little cubes, and they work pretty good for flowers because flower seeds are like, you know, smaller than dust. And they grow really slow, so you can have them in these tiny little things, and you can fit a lot more under your lights, and then you can bump them up. But I think we have a video from last year. Ian's like my soil block master. We don't always do soil blocks. We do them occasionally. And we do, oh, okay, there we go. There's a soil block video. Thank you. Yeah, because it's definitely one of those things that's easier to see than to show or than to explain. Yeah, but so we do seedlings and our like little small stuff, you know, like our lettuce seedlings that we sell at our seedling sale, we do in soil blocks. Because kind of our gimmick, you know, the thing that makes us different from, you know, nurseries, because we have some really nice nurseries in our town. So we offer these like plastic free organic plastic free seedlings is kind of like our gimmick to get people to come to our house and buy our seedlings. So we do soil blocks instead of having them like in a container. Yeah, they work really good. My daughter's favorite way to do it does need light. I know. I think so. I'm distracted by the Lisianthis. Lisianthis needs light. Yeah, but I think that it might still be worth it to stick it in the germination chamber for a few days and then stick it under light. I need to research. It's one of those things I don't know yet, because it's going to be like it's going to be one of those you need to know exactly what to ask Google to get the right answer, because as soon as I stick germination chamber in there, it's going to give me all this like garbage info I don't want. And then I'm going to say like Lisianthus, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, like here's Lisianthus. You can like buy it here, you can buy it there." Yeah. But tomorrow I got to do it. Yeah, herbs. You guys are all brave for seed starting herbs. Okay, let's do questions quick. I probably can get away with 15 minutes. So I saw one question. Someone was asking about winter sowing, and that jumped out at me because that's another thing that I'm going to be trying this year. I have a bunch of stuff, you know, like those feverfew. The feverfew is like the, you know, and the herbs. I think someone was talking about it when I was talking about the herbs. They're like perfect. Yeah, definitely. Please put questions in caps so then I can see it, because I'm super blind. It's really hard for me to see the stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna try the winter sowing thing. I haven't made a video about it yet, but I've been like filming stuff here and there. I'm doing, now I'm brain farting on the Lisa Marie Ziegler's book. What is her book? About cool flowers. There we go. I don't know if you can save seeds from Salanova. I know they're expensive, but I don't save seeds. That's as expensive as seeds are. My time is more expensive than figuring out seed saving. Okay. Cool flowers. So I have a cool flowers experiment currently happening. One of my greenhouses I emptied in the late summer, and I planted cool flowers into it. You know, in August I started some snapdragons, so they're in there. They're growing. And I am waiting to see how it works out. But I'm zone 5, and so it's kind of like borderline. Everything that I have in there is, I don't know. It's like an I don't know if it will work. And so far, it all looks beautiful. You know, I have like bachelor buttons. I have some Burpellum. I have some Sweet William. I have a couple other things. I have a bed of snapdragons. And they all look beautiful and they all look great and they're super happy. But winter doesn't actually happen in Kelowna until January, February. We always get a period of time that drops down cold. That is like what makes us a zone 5. We've been having beautiful weather. So they look great, but you know, we haven't had winter yet. So I have to wait and see if they'll survive our actual winter. But the hopes is if it does, that maybe I can get these things a little bit earlier. But I'm also going to be starting some stuff. Like I have a ton of Sweet William, and so I'm going to start it as like a winter sowing thing. I have a bunch of Indian Summer Rudbeckia. Here, I know that was in the flowers. I saw it, and I was like, oh yes, reminds me I have to do that. You know, that probably, if I'm busting out the soil, I should probably do it, because I haven't done any of it yet. I haven't done any winter sowing yet, because I have a plan. Because obviously I don't just like learn about something and then follow people's directions on how to do it. That would be too easy. Okay, here, this one. I love this. I had a bunch of this last year and I was super, super happy with it. I mean, but like, look at this, guys. Like, look at all this Rudbeckia. Crazy. I love this one. I'm like, why didn't I buy that? I'm not loud. That's why I didn't buy it. But so pretty. Can't have everything. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a bunch of the winter sowing stuff with things like that, which basically it seems to me like the winter sowing is really similar to the there is a Lisianthis growers support group on Facebook. I've heard of that. It's there if I need it, I suppose. So what am I saying? Okay, so this is my plan for winter sowing, right? Because they all like stick them into milk jugs, and then they tape up their milk jugs, and I'm like that's a lot of work. Like having to fuss around with milk jugs. Like I don't use tape. Tape is plastic. We try to use less plastic. I do have milk jugs because my kids are milk monsters. But yeah, I'm like, I don't think it's too much work to do it that way. And I'm like all about limiting the work. So my plan is I have all these seedling trays. I have like 1 million of them. So I'm going to load them up. I'm going to seed them as if, I was going to stick them onto my rack. And then instead, I'm going to put them outside and I'm going to put greenhouse plastic over top of them because I have lots of greenhouse plastic for my low tunnels. And I'm basically going to, just stick them outside and forget about them. And then I'll come and I'll check back on them, in March when winter is over and see what they're doing. And if they do something, then they're ready to be planted. They're already like in a seedling plug. At that point, if I come, they've gone through the cold warm cycle. That is like what they need to germinate nicely. They've had the cold stratification. Then they should be happy to go. And at that point, I can just take the plastic off and stick them in my greenhouse to just keep growing along with everything else that I'm going to seed at that time. So that is my plan for my experiment. And we'll see. I'll let you guys know how it works. But in worst case scenario, it's not gonna be a big loss. Sorry, I know I saw favorite flower that you grew in 2020. Too much work for little germination. I'm assuming that means like the winter sowing. Okay. So amaranth. I do pinch sometimes, but my new plan is I'm going to plant it super, super dense. And then I don't have to pinch, but then they'll be crowded. So they'll have really skinny stems to make it so everything's usable. That's my plan for 2021 amaranth. My favorite flower of 2020. I don't know. I feel like if I had to pick one for flowers, It would be, you know, if like when I weighed everything for like what sold well, what was like grew well, you know, it's hard to beat the Bennery's giant zinnias. They, you know, those are a pretty amazing flower. Like I'm not, other than the Lime Queen, Bennery's giant is like the only zinnia I'm gonna grow. I don't need small things. My absolute favorite is the snapdragons, but I'm really bad at growing them. I'm like, I need to put more work in. I need to learn how to grow stuff better. We Gomphrena, you know, it was super pretty, but it was a lot of work. It was really difficult to harvest. It was kind of like I complain about the Cosmos, but the Gomphrena had a lot of the issues that the Cosmos have. But yeah, I mean, I love the dinner plates. They're super pretty. Yeah, I mean, I really like the Gomphrena. It's really cool. It looks like nothing else, but it was complicated for harvesting. And the stems are pretty brittle, so you have to be delicate with it. It's a lot of work to harvest. I feel like if I could get big, healthy, bushy plants, then I could just basically cut off the whole plant, and that would make it easier. I mean, amaranth. I mean, yeah, there we go. That's my favorite, amaranth. My number one favorite thing I grew on the farm was pigweed. No, not actually. The coral amaranth, the coral fountain amaranth is like super beautiful. But you know, if I could only grow one thing, it would probably have to be the zinnias, the Bennery's giant. Snapdragons. So I have some currently planted, probably being very sad because it's like literally I can feel the cold through the windows. We're finally getting some winter weather. I am going to start some other snapdragons probably end of February. Chantilly I found out it's very cold hardy. Pretty incredibly so. I was outside the other day and my Chantilly snapdragons from last year, they have like tons of new growth on them at the base. Like they're like, oh yeah, sure, like -5, we love it. So last year I planted them out in April, I think mid-April. And so for context, my last frost is usually beginning of May. So I planted them out when it was still getting some cold temperatures. And I'm going to push it even more this year. I think I'm going to try planting them out like more like beginning of April. So I'm going to start them probably end of February inside, and then I'll plant some out, and then I'll also do another set and like rocket. I really like rocket, and those I'll probably do in April 1st in my greenhouse to then be planted outside for May 1st. A lot of my flowers, so we have an unheated greenhouse, and then starting usually beginning of April, it is warm enough overnight that it doesn't freeze any longer in the greenhouse, because the greenhouse only does like a degree or two of extra warmth for nighttime temperatures. The main thing that it does is that it gives just reading that. The main thing the greenhouse does is it heats up a lot during the day. So it helps stuff get growing because it has the daytime heat. But if it's stuff that needs to what am I saying? But it still freezes basically. I got the rocket snapdragons I got from they still have them at William Dam, because I know Johnny's, I don't think they have rocket, but Potomac is pretty much the same as rocket. I find rocket, like, I really like it. I think that it's a little bit better with the heat is why I might like rocket, because we get really hot springs and mine didn't struggle at all. Whereas Potomac, I think other people find that it does better. But you can get sure they had Rocket at Geo. And you can find them. Like Rocket is like a super, super common one. Okay, so the question like about like moisture for the plastic. I think like what you mean is like how is it going to like keep the moisture in, right? Like how like because the milk jug's basically the concept of the milk jug is the entire thing becomes like a greenhouse, right? Like it warms up and like keeps the moisture in, but it vents a little bit because you take the lid off. So when I say I'm gonna do plastic, like we need props. Okay, so here. These are my using the things that are in hand's reach to explain what I'm gonna do. Okay, so this is like my seedling tray, right? So I'm gonna have like a bunch of them laid out on the ground, and I'm gonna water them. And then I'm gonna take the plastic and I'm gonna like tuck them in like a blanket, right? And so, but it's gonna be like tucked in. So there, it's gonna hold the moisture into the plants, and then the plastic, like it'll let some light through, so it'll warm up the soil when the snow melts off. In the same way that and then I'll probably tent it up like a tiny bit, so it's in case they germinate. Because if they germinate and the plastic's sitting on the soil, the plants will just they'll rot because the plastic will get so hot. So I'll probably tent it a little bit, but basically I'm gonna go from like having the milk jug be the closed thing to turning an entire area into a really big milk jug is my thinking. And if it's starting to dry out, it's really easy because I'll just lift off the plastic tarp and I can water all the seedling trays because we're very, I don't have to worry about yeah, I don't. Obviously, anytime I say anything, I'm probably saying it wrong. Potomac? I don't know. I have no idea. You guys knew. You guys know what I'm referring to. Yeah, but yeah. So like that is how the moisture would hold in. If I think that answers like why it would work. Cress. So I bought cress. I have like a pack of cress currently sitting on my table. And I've never done it because I always like kind of just like woo, like I forget about it. But I quite often what I do is I plant anything of like the brassica family. So following my seedling sale, I usually have some like leftover choys and leftover mustards and this and that. And I take them and I plant them super, super tight together in the flower farm. And then what they do is they go to seed, and then I have like seed stems. So it ends up being kind of similar to the cress, because that's what you get. That's what you're going for when you grow the cress for a cut flower. You're going for like immature seed pods. But I also think I probably would never do the cress because I have so many things that I can like kind of salvage. Oh, thanks so much. Black Dog Apiary and Farm.
Rena,
thank you. Okay, I gotta go soon here. I can do one more question.
It's bedtime.
Well,
what?
Yeah, that's fine.
But I need help. There's
Yeah.
the shower.
Well, no, like I'm not. It's gonna take me a minute. But yes. Okay, go. If they just got out of the shower, go dry them off.
So I'm doing. We don't have the hairdryer, so I need your help.
Yes, I can do that. Yeah, seed pods. I have so much stuff for seed pods that I don't bother. I don't bother planting things specifically for seed pods. One thing that I do here, Ian's back. One thing that I do that I keep failing at because I need to be good at succession planting, and I'm not, is that baby's breath. I grow Covenant Garden baby's breath. And I always get like one planting in, and then I get completely distracted. And then I don't get other plantings, and so then I have like 2 weeks where I have baby's breath, and that is something that I use probably even more than the cress, because the cress is the same thing where you have to you have to be always planting it because it finishes so quickly. But it's beautiful. I love it.
Okay, we need to go because our hair dryer broke the other day, and our kids just got out of the shower.
I don't know why Ian thinks.
I need a lady hand to come help dry our daughter's hair.
Well, thanks so much for joining too. Generous gifts and joining best friends.
We really
Thanks so
appreciate
much.
everything, and we love that you guys spend time with us on Sundays.
Yeah, it always blows my mind that so many of you guys are willing to come and hang out.
For a long while there, once we lost our comments a couple years ago, it kind of felt like we were just kind of pushing these videos out into the void, and like there'd be a view count that would tell you whether things were going good or not, but it was very much like what, very little feedback.
Yeah, I was like, do they like it? Do they not like it?
So it's very awesome to see all these people coming and hanging out with us on our live videos. We really appreciate it, and it's fun that we kind of got a time that works.
Yeah, we have to get into the routine of doing it now, so that we can maintain the routine once we get into the busy time.
Yeah,
because I know last year it
it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, but I mean, employee that should help
employee
make
will definitely help it.
Everything easier. Maybe I'll be able to finally get the flowers all properly succession planted.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to have more farm, Ian. Where am I going to put all these flowers?
Lots more farm.
Where am I going to put all these flowers that I just bought?
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Have a great day.
Okay, we'll chat next week.